Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. In today's episode, you'll meet Dean Taylor, a transformational speaker with over 25 years of experience helping men rediscover their purpose. You learn how aligning your values with your dreams creates lasting fulfillment, why it's never too late to start again, and how to model purpose for your children. If you ever felt stuck or unsure of your direction, this episode will help you reconnect with your why and live with renewed passion. Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. Before we start the next conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, The Gift Inside, a powerful guide for healing your body, mind, and soul. Reclaim your strengths and awaken your true potential. Whether you are navigating heartbreak or simply seeking deeper fulfillment, this book offers the tools to turn your struggles into triumphs. It is time to unlock the gift within you. Available now on Amazon, or you can check it out on my website www.irinashehovtsov.com. Stories today we have a special guest, Dean Taylor. He's a transformational speaker and leader with 25 years experience leading through the power of stages, with a mission to empower career fathers of faith to develop self, create a vision for their life, and live a life of purpose and passion. He speaks publicly about how to find your purpose and break through barriers to achieve dreams and live life you were meant to live. So welcome, Dean. It is a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you, Irina. It's also such a pleasure to be a guest on your show today. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So please share with us who you are in your own words.
That is a fantastic question. I am, as you mentioned, I am a father. My wife and I have been married. We celebrated 32 years of marriage on May 29th of this year, which was awesome. We have 5 children and we have 3 grandchildren with another one on the way. We're super excited about that. In January, I have spent my life and career in healthcare. I started off as a nurse in the newborn intensive care unit. I worked there for about 7 years, and then I transitioned into it. It seems so weird to transition away from doing bedside care to healthcare IT. I work in IT now, but I'm very, as you mentioned, very passionate about helping other fathers, men who have felt that they've felt a little stuck in life, or they're wondering, they're had success in life and they're ending or getting close to the end of their careers and wondering, gosh, is this it? Have I done everything I'm supposed to? Maybe they're reflecting on that. And I love to talk about purpose and vision and help people to feel like they're achieve their vision. And if people have stopped dreaming, my hope is that they can start realizing it's never too late to start dreaming again and to live your life and with purpose and full passion. Sometimes I think we go through life experiences. Life can be hard, and we want to, I just say sometimes the dreams kind of get beat out of us, and we're like, just everything kind of weighs us down, and we think that life's passed us by. And I'm learning that it's just never too late to live your dream and to find that thing that's kind of been burning in your chest. It's never too late to start dreaming about that again, but it's always too early to stop. That's what I often say.
Yes, totally agree with you. So what is your dream?
My dream, that is a fantastic question. My dream is to live my life with inspiring people, inspiring men to, and I say men because I'm a man, and that's where I feel like I have a special connection there. But I love to speak. I love to train. And my goal and dream is to help other people to discover what their purpose is, and to create a vision for their life. I think that without purpose and without a vision, it's kind of like the analogy that I use is that it's like we all have these phones that have a GPS on them, and it's a really wonderful tool. but without a destination, they're not that helpful. And
Yeah.
so purpose and vision is like a GPS. Once we have a destination and we know where we're headed, then we can get there, and life begins to really happen, and it can happen without the grind. We often hear that we're grinding through life, we're grinding, and it has to be harder, and we have to earn it all, and it has to be. If we don't feel like we've worked hard and we haven't earned it, we're not deserving of it. And I'm just learning that that's when we're in our full purpose and passion, we're able to lead and to grow, and we're in a flow state, and things don't have to be so challenging and difficult.
Totally right. I think it's our upbringing that everything has to be hard. If it's not
So
hard,
true.
that's like it's fake, or it's unworthy. Or
Yes,
you
yes,
gotta suffer first before you can do
yes.
anything first.
Exactly. That's so true. And you're right.
So
I think it happens, and we for somewhere along the path in childhood, we developed this belief that it has to be hard, and it carries with us through so much of our life, and just learning that it really doesn't have to be that way.
So how do people stop dreaming as adults? So how do people get back into dreaming again?
For me, what I have found, what I tell people is that I think it becomes hard, and I think that the way we start dreaming again is understanding what we really value. And when we understand and we're clear on what our values are, then those desires and those dreams that we have, they become aligned. I've definitely learned that the challenge when life can get hard is when we're out of alignment. The thing we're desiring is not in alignment with our values. That's when it gets hard, because what I'm learning is that my values always went out. I'll always go back to the things that I value the most. And so if my desires are out of alignment with what my true value is, that's when I experience resistance and conflict. So if I can align my desires and my values and my strengths, that's when I begin to get in that flow state, and things begin to move forward. So I say understanding what your values are and your strengths and your desires, and aligning those things, and then making sure that dream you have is all those things are aligned, then you'll start to experience growth and transformation, and not just incremental. I think you can start to have these bigger leaps in life where you experience great growth and shorter periods of time.
Yeah, totally. Was there any time in your life when you felt stuck, and how did you discover, that you kind of stopped dreaming? What was the catalyst or something?
Yes. Well, I'll share a story with you. This is back in, I think, about 2018. My mom had passed away, and my dad his health was not good, and so we were realizing that he couldn't really be on his own, and so we went to this house to help clean out the house and get it ready to sell. And probably a lot of people, or maybe a lot of people listening, have had a similar experience. That's just an emotional and a challenging time. And my dad, when I was probably maybe 10 or 11 years old, maybe a little bit older, he had this dream of starting his own business, and he wanted to have a small engine repair business. He was good with working with his hands. He loved engines. He'd done a lot of work and those kinds of things. And I remember being really excited for him and happy that he was doing something that he really wanted to do. And he went to the school and the training and got the manuals. And I remember him bringing home a small engine, and he would take it apart and put it back together. And he did this so many times. And for whatever reason, that business just never took off for him. So now we're here, years later, we're at his house and we're cleaning it out. When I'm out in the garage, and it's just full of stuff. And I came across these manuals that he had used, that he studied from and got his training from. And then in the corner of the garage, buried with a bunch of other stuff, I found this old engine that he had used so many years ago to repair and to learn from and take apart. And now we're throwing it all away. And it was just literally going into a dumpster. And I remember having this feeling, this thought, I'm throwing my dad's dream away. And I asked myself the question, am I on the same path? What have I been dreaming about? What's the dream that I have had that I've set aside, that I've said I don't have enough experience, I lack knowledge, or whatever the thing may be. I thought, am I on this path? And so it really got me thinking about, what is the dream that I've been setting aside? And And throughout my life, when I've gone to training or business conferences, I've always thought to myself, how can I be the person on the stage? How can I be the person in giving and serving in that way? And began to realize I was putting this dream that I've had to be up on a stage and sharing and inspiring and serving. And I thought, I'm not going to do that anymore. And so I began to, that was a dream that was in that's the thing that just lights me up, is when I can serve in a way and help other people to feel inspired and to live their dream and their passion and discover that. And so that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm so excited about it. I love speaking. I had an opportunity here a few months ago to give a keynote speech, which I thought this will really tell me. This is putting my dream to the test. If I walk off the stage and I'm like, oh, I'm never doing that again, then I'll know that I put that dream to the test. But anyway, I loved it, and it was a great experience. So sharing those things and doing that has become this passion and dream of mine.
Beautiful. I love it. And thankful that you realized, that when you were, I guess, cleaning out the house, that you had some inkling in you that,
Yeah.
you have a dream, and what is it, and how do I want to live? Because I guess the greatest regret of the dying is the things they haven't gotten a chance to do, as opposed to all the things they thought was important, and now when they didn't, it was too late already.
Yes, and I've heard there was a study done with elderly patients in hospitals, and they asked them what their greatest regret was, and their greatest regret wasn't the things that they did do. Their greatest regrets were the things that they didn't do. The dreams that they had, that they just, now they're at the end of their life, they're laying in their hospital bed or wherever they were, and felt that now it was really too late. And so that's something that has impacted me as well, and thinking about as I reflected. And I don't want to get to that point in my life and say, man, I didn't go after that thing. I let my fear, I let my doubts, whatever it may be, stop me from going after the thing that was really pulling at my heartstrings to do.
Yes, yeah, you're so right. What do you think holds most men back from doing what they feel passionate about?
For me, and I think probably a lot of people feel this way, definitely felt that if people knew what I really wanted, what would they think of me? Will they think I'm gone crazy? Will they think that I'm suffering some sort of midlife crisis? And so I think sometimes even I think comparison is such a thief of joy. I think when we may look at someone else and say, oh, they're already doing this thing. And so that we start to tell ourselves that we're not enough. We have a lack of experience. We have lack of knowledge. And so we start to create this mental running dialogue in our minds that we're of fear, which leads to doubt, which leads us to always be imagining the worst case thing that could possibly happen. When reality is none of those things are probably true at all. And so when we start to see value in ourselves and to let that out and start thinking, well, what's the best thing that could happen? And what's the best case scenario? And living in that side of life and realizing that things could turn out way better than we think.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what holds a lot of people back and I think most people do have this feeling. We imagine the worst case thing always happening. And I guess the other thing I would say is I think our brains are wired to protect us, which is great. We have this great organ in our head that helps protect us. And so when we're outside of something or what we want to do is unfamiliar to us because we haven't done it before. And so when we start and we get close to that point of doing this thing, it's natural to feel fear because or I shouldn't say maybe a fear, but probably unfamiliarity. Like it's not familiar to us. And so our brain's telling us, go back to where it feels safe and comfortable. And so we stay in that comfort zone. And we've probably all heard the phrase that there's no growth in your comfort zone, or there's no growth in your familiar zone. So when you're outside of that area of familiarity or the comfort is when you begin to stretch and you begin to have growth. And being a grandfather, I love observing our grandchildren and how they live their lives. And on this vacation I was mentioning right before we started the recording, we have a granddaughter who'll be 3 next month. And I was watching her play. She didn't have her toys with her, but she just had these plastic water bottles that we had, and she was lining them up and she was playing with them. And as I sat and I watched her, I realized she's not thinking about tomorrow. She's not thinking what happened yesterday. She's totally present where she's at, and she's just in the moment. And I realized she's living this life and she's so happy because she's just living right now. She's not. And so when we live in the present, when we live in that, those are the things we have control over. And when we're present and we're living our life now to the best that it can possibly be, the future, that's how we shape the future and how we shape our tomorrows. So anyway, that was a realization I had, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is such a great moment.
Yes, I think, we've forgotten how to be like that, like kids, to be present. We're always either worrying about the future or obsessing over our past, what we should have said, who we should have been, and we miss out on being present, what are right in front of us. And it's simple things like breathing or seeing a smile on a child's face or seeing a sunrise and totally be there in that moment, all present, experiencing all your senses and without having other thoughts about other things.
Yes.
Because then you kind of separate yourself into gazillion little pieces.
Yes, it's so true. Speaking of the sunrise, this vacation I was on, it was so awesome. It was amazing to see sunrises in the mountains, and being in nature is just such a great reminder of the abundance that we have that surrounds us. And when I think about nature, and I was observing and thinking about all this forest of trees and how there is just such abundance, and nature happens. If nature thinks, I don't think it thinks in lack. It's always growing and expanding and replenishing. And so that was another great reminder when on our vacation is about the abundance that just surrounds us.
Yeah. What one thing you are proud of, your greatest accomplishment today?
That's a powerful question. I honestly, thinking on my life, my greatest accomplishment and thing I'm most proud of is my family, my relationships that I have with them. And it hasn't always been easy. I mentioned my wife and I have been married 32 years, and there's always ups and downs. And I think being together for this number of years, raising our family, and now seeing our children raising their families is the thing that I definitely feel most proud about. That, and seeing seeing the things that how they've improved, upon how we did as parents. They're doing a great job with their children, and that makes me really happy.
Thank you. What's the most important thing to instill in a child?
I feel like most important thing to instill in a child would be belief that they can. I read recently that children receive, for every yes that they hear in their life, in their early childhood, they receive 30 no's to everything for every yes. And so I think that has an impact on what they believe and how we develop as children, what we can do. And so if we're always in this belief that you can't do this, you can't do that, no, and whenever an opportunity comes up, we're going to tell ourselves, oh, I can't do that. And as soon as we say, like, we can't, our brain shuts off, and we lose the will, and we won't do whatever. So I think establishing with them a belief that they can, and to be curious, and because children are so curious. They're always wanting to know. They're always wanting to explore, wanting to learn. So if we can learn to, I think, help instill in them to remain curious and asking, why is this happening, and not assigning a meaning to it or a belief to it. Because I'm discovering in my own life as I remain curious about so many things, and why is this thing happening, or why am I feeling this way, and not defining, it doesn't define who I am. And so that's something I think would be really important to help establish in young children, is the belief that they can, and to keep looking at life through a lens of curiosity.
Yes, you're so right. And I love that. I heard another thing also about the yeses and the nos. For every no is spoken, you got to replace it with 7 yeses to override the negative aspect of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're so right also. that I called instilling curiosity and the can attitude and figuring things out. If it didn't work this way, maybe it can work another way. I was in the kitchen the other day and like peeling potatoes, and I asked my kid to help peel the potatoes, and she tried this way and it didn't work. And why is it not working? I don't want it. And I told her, I have, when I started, I also was not great at it. But I didn't give up. I have X years of experience of doing the same thing over and over again. And then you perfect the thing and then you do it. But not giving up when you first kind of face a failure or face a challenge, and being able to see something from a different way. And I never knew, I call it another kitchen experiment, how you take the metal can and open it with the can opener.
Yes.
Kid opened it in such a way, and now it's done in 45 years of my life. But you were able to do it. The result, I think, is more important
than the how.
Yes, it's not traditional. Yes, it's not mainstream, but you did it. You get there.
Exactly. And I love what you just said. It reminded me that the first time we do something, we're usually not very good at it. But you said as we repeat and we do it over and over, we gain experience and we get better at it. And so that's like with anything. And so if we're going after a dream or something, and the first time we attempt something and we're not good at it, so often we'll tell ourselves, oh, well, I failed, and so I must be the wrong. But we get better. And so it's just I love that example of peeling potatoes.
Yes. Simple thing.
Simple thing. Great
You're
story.
doing it so long and for so many years. It's easy.
Yes.
We forget how it was when we started.
Well, it's like walking. And when a child learns how to walk, they didn't just stand up and walk and never fall again.
That's right. Yes. What is your superpower if you had to pick one?
Superpower. I have a real passion for learning. I think that is one of my greatest superpowers, is to learn. I do like to ask questions. And I think it's one of my greatest strengths is to be curious and to ask and to always be learning. So I love, it's kind of another funny story. My kids when they were younger, they loved Harry Potter, and they read all the Harry Potter books, and they watched all the movies. And I just barely recently watched all the movies with them. And so I would say being able to learn is probably one of my greatest superpowers. So the reason I share the story about the books with Harry Potter and the movies is I'm nothing against fiction. It's just I don't find myself having time to always to spend a lot of time reading fiction. I spend most of my time, pretty much all my time, when I reading a book that helps me learn something new, that builds me up, that helps me to grow and learn something. So definitely one of my strengths and superpowers is learning.
Awesome. I love that. That's one of mine too. Not a superpower, but something I truly enjoy is learning about something. What was, I call it, the most, I guess, interesting book you ever read? And then another one is, what was the most influential book that kind of inspired your journey?
Yeah. Well, man, that's a hard one to say. There's so many things that I love. I think maybe it's the book I've read most recently that I found so interesting was a book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil.
Haven't heard of that one.
It's such a fascinating book. Kind of a little bit about the book. He wrote the book in the early 1900s, probably 1980s, but it was only recently published in the early 2000s because his family felt that they were worried about what people would think and the impact it might have on society. Because the basis of the book is that Napoleon Hill, whether he did this or not, you kind of left wondering. But he has an interview with the devil, and he gets the devil to confess all of his secrets about how he controls people. And so it's just a fascinating read. And so I found that as a very interesting book. Probably most influential book on my life up to this point has been The Miracle Morning. If it's a book that you've read, or maybe some of the listeners have read. I read that book and read some of the others. It's kind of a series of books. I've read a few of the other books, but the original Miracle Morning book has had a huge impact on my life, because after I read the book, in the book, it talks about a routine you can do in your morning to start off your morning with greater power and clarity. And so it's broken into a routine it's called savers. So S is for silence, A is for affirmation, V is for visualization, E is for exercise, R is for reading, and the last S is scribing or journaling. So after I read the book, I thought, I'll pick a couple of these routines and I'll try them out. And about a week and a half into doing the two, I started to notice such a shift in myself and my confidence and the clarity and just the way I felt about my day in the morning and how I responded to things. I thought, why am I shortchanging myself? I should just do all of them. And so I started doing all of them. And since I read the book, they've released an app where you can track your routine each day, which I do. I think measuring yourself and tracking is a great thing. And today I completed 815 Miracle Mornings in a row.
Awesome.
And so the book's had a definite impact on me, big influence. So that's what I would share about the most influential book for me.
I love it. Morning routine, I'm also a great believer, and it's one of the habits I share in my book, The Gift Inside. And it's not when you start your day, but how you start your day.
I love that too. Yes, because some people, maybe your day doesn't start in the morning. Maybe it actually starts later in the evening. Some people work night shifts, and that's the thing I've learned. When I've shared about the Miracle Morning routine, they're like, well, I'm not a morning person. My day is different. Like, well, you don't have to do it in the morning. You can do it whenever you wake up and whatever is the way you start. I love what you just shared. It's how you start.
Yeah.
Having a powerful routine is I think makes a huge difference.
Totally. It's like you know how to make a perfect recipe when you make, I don't know if you like cooking, but making a pie or making a cake, and you know all the proper ingredients and the measurements. We should also know what is the proper ingredients that allow us to have a best possible day. And I think one of the best ways to do so is to creating that recipe for yourself in the morning. What kind of things do you put in? Not just in your mouth, but in your head. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you absorb? And what kind of intention you set for your day? How do you move your body? How do you journal or read? Flood your senses with goodness, because you don't expect a lemon to produce orange juice. You ask what kind of things you put in. That's the kind of person that shows up, the bitter, angry kind or the happy kind.
Yes.
Peaceful kind, because you spend the time charging your own batteries, making yourself good.
I love that analogy about the lemons. Yeah, you don't squeeze a lemon and expect orange juice.
Yes. So what is one, I guess, non-negotiable thing for you in your day, in your daily routine?
Non-negotiable.
What's something you cannot live without?
Well, when I first wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, and this has been part of my routine, what I've started is I'm a man of faith, and I come from a Western theology Christian background. So one thing that I do consistently every morning is I just start my day with reflection and prayer. So that's a non-negotiable for me, is I do that every day. And it's just roll out of bed and that's what I do.
Awesome. Yes. I like to start my day with gratitude, saying 3 things I'm grateful for as soon as I wake up, and telling myself I'm going to have an awesome day.
Yes. And I love yes, I totally agree with you. Gratitude. I have a journal right here that I keep, and this is my time in my gratitude journal. And that's what after I say my prayer, I write 3 things I'm thankful for. So very similar to what you do. And then I write why I'm grateful for those things. And then I try to think of one thing each day that I can do that I can be generous. I think part of being grateful is being generous and expressing gratitude through giving of some kind. Or even being grateful can be receiving something with graciousness and gratitude. So try to think of something each day that I can do that could serve and bless someone else.
Yeah.
I love what you said. That's such a great thing.
Thank you. If there is a single dad listening right now who feels stuck, what would you tell them?
Single dad that's feeling stuck. I would say, I go back to what I was talking about earlier. When you become clear about what you truly value in life, we kind of talk about what are the non-negotiable things in your life? What are the values that you're not going to ever bend on? And when you get clear about those values and you understand what they are, and then start thinking about your the thing that paying attention to that quiet desire. Sometimes it could be just this feeling in your chest of what you want to do, and making sure that desire aligns with your values. I think that so often we discount, I call them little pings, and they can be very subtle, quiet thoughts that are telling us to do something, and it's so easy to dismiss it because it's so quiet and subtle. And I think that's really the true you trying to express itself. And so paying attention to those little pings about, or nudges to do something and to be something. Because I think all of us are, by nature, and I was talking about this a little bit with the observing nature, that there's always this desire for greater growth and greater expression and expansion. And sometimes we take that thing that keeps popping up in our mind and our heart, and we dismiss it because it's quiet. But paying attention to those subtle desires, those subtle nudges to do something, and acting on it. And I've learned, I'm not perfect, but I'm learning that when I pay attention to those little subtle things and I act on them immediately, or act on them as quickly as I can, that's where magic starts to really happen in my life, and things I begin to feel confidence. I get into that flow state. They start to seem easier. I don't feel like I'm just grinding through the mud and I'm pushing against a wall. So anyway, that's my thought and advice on that, is being in those intuitive thoughts. Don't dismiss them so readily.
Yeah. So listen to your inner voice that's always there waiting to be heard, and don't immediately act on your ego that's always screaming when something is unfair, and then act on that. So switching your mind and paying attention to little urges inside.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. What's next for you? Any fun projects you're working on that you like to share?
Oh, fun project. Well, yes, I am. One of the things I am starting here is in a couple of weeks is I'm doing my first. I have not done one before, but I'm excited about it. I'm going to be doing a mastermind. So one of the books that I haven't mentioned yet, but I love, it's John Maxwell book called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. So we'll use that as the basis of our discussions in the mastermind. So I'm starting that. I'm very excited about that. And one of the things I really want to do for my own growth in my business is to serve my community. So I'm reaching out to businesses that here locally in my community, and how I can help them with whatever problem they have, whether it's team communication, whether it's people are needing help with growing their own leaders within their organization. So I'm working with organizations, reaching out and starting to hold some workshops and some trainings with local businesses in our community.
Cool. Awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
You've done a great job. I'm really grateful. These are really insightful and great questions. I can't think of anything that we haven't touched on. So this has been really a wonderful and great opportunity and experience to be with you today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you as well. If people would like to connect and learn more about you, where would they go?
I'm on Instagram, on social media. That's where I post the most. So they could find me at Dean Taylor Official on Instagram. I also have a website, deantaylorofficial.com. That's where people can learn more about me. And I have some resources that are available about purpose and vision and passion, and some other resources about life lessons that I've had in my life that could help other people. Just some free resources there on my website as well.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll include everything in episode notes. It's been a pleasure to have you. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you as well. It's been wonderful talking with you today. I'm really grateful. So thank you.